It is the Morning Sports Report with Guy Junker and Tim Benz, brought to you by Invisible Fence Brand, creating happier homes where pets can safely play in the yard out of danger. To schedule a free in-home consultation, visit invisiblefence.com. That's invisiblefence.com. No Ken today. He's off, and we've got a busy day. Guy across the street over at PNC Park. It's the Cubs and the Pirates. We're going to start things off there, and we'll get to our late-night scouting report of the San Francisco 49ers in a little bit. Not much to report after that.
Well, I couldn't stay awake for the second half.
I got myself through the third quarter, and that's all I could handle. But there's a lot to talk about as it relates to the Steelers specifically. But the baseball angle to start with so far is the Cubs and the Pirates. And if you look at the front page of the Pittsburgh Tribune Review sports section today, it says sore winners. You had two good teams, but both renowned for getting hit by pitches. In the Pirates' case, renowned for hitting others by pitches. Apparently, it's presented to Clint Hurdle, as this is being now the black and blue division in baseball. You think that's going to come into play today with these two teams, or is that more reserved just, you think, for the Pirates and Reds when it comes to the nasty stuff? Because for 4 games and a doubleheader today, that could get thick.
Well, I think there's a difference between pitching aggressively and inside in a competitive nature and trying to hit people. And I think when they play the Reds, they try to hit people. The rest of it, they're just aggressive. You remember for years, Tim, the Pirates were wimpy as a staff and not pitching inside. Guys wouldn't throw inside. And I don't want to say that A.J. Burnett single-handedly changed that, but I think there was a different swagger with the pitching staff after he came here, and I think they're much better now. And I don't have a problem with that when it's in the competitive nature of the game. I don't like to see guys throw, especially up anywhere near the head on purpose, like they seem to get into these wars with the Reds.
One thing that's definitely come up already as a topic of conversation yesterday on the show, I know it was talked about today across the radio in Pittsburgh, that's what to do with the bullpen and how do you manage the bullpen in this first game so you can have at least some people fresh for the second game if the first game remains close, and then what do you do for the next 2? How do you avoid burning people out? And the prospect of having Mark Melancon even maybe pitch both games if they happen to be ahead and then just not use him for the next game. How do you think Hurdle massages that?
Well, first of all, this is very weird. I've had more questions. I've had people calling me, asking me, I have tickets from this game. Can I use them for this game? And there was one day-night doubleheader. I believe it was the first year PNC Pirates. The day that Brian Giles hit the Grand Slam, that they came back with 2 outs and nobody, and then they played him again that night. I don't remember it because I wasn't working that day. I remember that first game. It's kind of odd. It comes at a good time of the year when you have so many guys on the roster. If I'm managing a team, I'm going balls to the wall and winning this first game. And
you deal with it from there.
You could be down 8-0 to Leicester tonight and never need those guys in the bullpen. So win this first game and then deal with whatever you have to later. If Melancon has an inning where he did over the weekend, where he throws less than 10 pitches, and you need him in a second save situation, worry about tomorrow. Especially, realistically, you're facing Arrieta tomorrow night. You're probably not going to need a closer tomorrow night for all intents and purposes.
Well, who do you think right now in his head is his second closer? Is it Soria, as we thought it was going to be when he was acquired? Has it become Melancon? I'm trying to think of other options out there. I mean,
Caminero had a great
maybe
run for a while there. Myself, and even though he's left-handed, I would trust Watson. I don't know. Soria's been too up and down. He's looked a little better lately than he did when he first got here, and maybe he's settling into that. And maybe they'll give him a shot at that now. But when they made their moves, Tim, I thought Soria was their best acquisition, not Happ. And, between Happ and Blanton, those guys have been really good. I've been a little disappointed in Soria.
Even if in Game 1 Cole can only go to 5 innings to start, just for the sake of argument, and you do have to lean on the bullpen, I don't stay away from Blanton or Hughes, but I probably don't use both. I don't stay away from Soria or Caminero, but I don't use both. Like you said, there's enough arms up that you should have some options. But I try to save at least one legit guy that you think can close for that second
one
game.
Guy. A lot of those guys have sort of the same role.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Get through them the first game and then save the guys for the same role. Even if it's a B team, your B setup lefty, your B closer, your B. But I think, like I said, if this were being played in April, it would have been a lot worse because you wouldn't have a much smaller roster to work. I think it's weird. I just think it's strange. If this first game goes extra innings, how are they going to get those people out of there? I'm wondering about the parking over here. I just think it's an odd situation.
Especially at that time of day, too, around here.
Right. I would see like the Red Sox used to do these because every game was sold out. You couldn't give a rain check to come back, and they would do it. And I thought, day-night doubleheaders, that seems strange. Now we have one.
But it's an interesting one against an interesting opponent, as you said, as an interesting time. It is the Morning Sports Report with Guy Junker and Tim Benz, brought to you by Invisible Fence Brand.